All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn. I'm your host, Mr. Tight White. Now, it is actually kind of cool here today. I mean, it's only in the 30s, you know, 39, 40 degrees around that temp, but the wind is just flowing today, so it feels like it's in the 20s. I just got my COVID test at Walgreens. I did the drive-through. They give you a Q-tip, and you got to 5 times around each nostril, put it back in the baggie. Speaking of wind, I'm putting the test into the red bin and passing it through the whatever that thing's called to the window, and my test flies off in the air and goes like 100 feet away. So she's like, "Do you want to do the test again?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to shove Q-tips in my nose again." And I'm looking at the line, I'm like, oh, great. So I'm like, let me go find it. So I go, and they don't want you to go inside. So I finally found it. Literally, I'm telling you, it blew like 100, 150 feet away. And I had to get back in line and wait another, I don't know, 30 minutes or whatever. But I finally got that delivered. So 24 hours from now, I'll find out if I have COVID. I'm pretty sure I do. It seems like everybody around me has COVID, so it's pretty much a shoo-in. Now, other updates on me. I've decided to go back to work. So it's January now, as of this video. In March, it'll be officially 24 months, 2 years. That was kind of the goal, but it's kind of a stupid goal. Who cares if I'm out of work for 2 years? It's a goal for myself that means nothing. I'm finding out that I need a little more structure in my life. I have no structure whatsoever. Speaking of structure, my neighbor, which we'll talk about her too. I think I got a crush on my neighbor. I got a new neighbor that lives across the street from my house. And supposed to be helping pick her son up, but that's a whole nother thing. But anyway, yes, I think I like her. And I need to figure out how to approach dating her. I need to figure out a way. So she has dogs and I have dogs. So I think I'm going to use my dogs, and I'm going to invite her to go on a nature trail where we take the dogs walking. I think that's going to be my, my move right there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, my neighbor sees a Facebook post that they're hiring a maintenance guy over at this church that's local to me, that's in my little city here. So I'm like, you know what, that's a perfect way for me to transition back into the work field, the workforce. Maintenance guy for a church, I'm fine with that. So I reach out to the church, I call them, and I don't know, it's kind of a weird situation. I'm like, I have a resume. I'm like, I want to bring my resume up there, and they're like, well, we have a heightened sense of security and all this stuff, and we usually don't let people bring their resumes in. They were very they didn't want me to come up there for some reason. So finally I got it figured out or whatever. Through the website, I couldn't update something or whatever. So finally she sent me a PDF. I filled out my resume and I emailed it back to her. Now, I'll make a long story short, guys, and we'll get to the hunting portion of the video, and then after that, I'll show you what I picked up the last couple of weeks. Now, this might have happened to you if you're a YouTuber. Now, when I created my second channel, which is this channel, DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn, somehow, and this never happened with my Mr. Tight White channel, somehow, I guess because Google owns YouTube, right? Does that make sense? That my YouTube account is attached to my Gmail account now. So every time which shouldn't be the case, it pisses me off. So every time before I get into that, let me just tell you about the application. So the application was weird. It was a regular application, right? And then you put your work history and all that stuff, all those, your name, your address, where you used to work, all the normal stuff from applications, right? But then it starts asking you church questions like, when did you find Jesus? And I'm not applying to be a priest. I'm applying to be a maintenance guy. And it even had a it said on there, you must fill this out. So it wasn't like there was it was really weird. It was kind of very cultish to me that they were making me answer questions about my relationship with Jesus on an application for maintenance. I was like, what is going on here? So anyway, I did it against my will, filled all that stuff out, and now back to my email. So I'm emailing back and forth, and we're talking, we're having a cordial, email discussion, and I'm like, here's my resume. I look forward to getting an interview with you. And she's being very cordial with me as well. And all of a sudden, I realize my logo is emailing her with me eating the 2 hamburgers like that, right? And it says DVDs, nuts, and popcorn. So she's being emailed from my DVDs, nuts, and popcorn YouTube channel. So now I haven't heard nothing. That was 2 weeks ago. They have my resumes impeccable, so I know that they would definitely call me. No one's called me. No one sent me any emails whatsoever. And I know what they're doing. She went onto my YouTube channel, started watching my videos. She was like, oh, look at this guy. He's the devil. He's picking up horror movies. He's Satan. We're not going to hire him.
Puts the lotion on its skin. Now!
Well, say it, don't spray it, brother. Dang. I need a towel now.
Does what it's told!
So now I got to create another email account if I want to apply anywhere. I don't know, it just pisses me off. But anyway, that's what's going on in my life. Now, we're going to do some, I was about to say video game hunting. We're going to do some Blu-ray and DVD hunting right now. And after that, we'll recap and I'll show you everything I picked up, guys. We have our recording. Cool, man. Appreciate it. These are $1. This is $1. That's $1. All right, guys, so we're at Half Price Books right now. I'm going to do an exchange on this one, and we're going to grab another movie. So this is live feed. I wanted to talk about it since we're not going to be able to include this in the video otherwise, since I am returning it. Now, this is a Ryan Nicholson film. So if you do not know who Ryan Nicholson is, he directed one of the movies he's more known for is Gutterballs, a movie that I really enjoyed. It's in the Guinness Book of Records, I believe, for the most F-bombs dropped in a movie. And he's kind of a, not kind of, he's basically a Tom Savini type of guy. He's really good with gore, special effects, practical effects. And he's got some controversial movies, and this is definitely one of them. Now, here's the mistake I made, and I don't want you guys to make this mistake. Anytime you get, and by the way, Ryan Nicholson died very young, so rest in peace to Ryan. Now, if you get any Ryan Nicholson movies, or any movies in general that have a lot of gore in them, always get the unrated version if that's available. So this does have an unrated version available, and I was very disappointed. I like this movie, but I was very disappointed in the turnaways. Every time there was a cool kill, they would turn away from it. You wouldn't see the practical effect. So definitely do not purchase this rated version. Definitely go with the unrated version. Basically, this movie is about these couples. I think they're in, I don't know if they're in Korea. They're in some Asian country, and they're going around, they're Americans, and they're going around partying, and they're going to, like, you know, these Asian bars and stuff like that. And they end up going to a triple X, like, movie theater where you can bring couples in there and, like, make out during triple X movies and have sex in a movie theater while people are watching you. And then they have private rooms that are showing pornos on screens, and there's these cameras, I don't know if you can see that right there, set up all over this place. So there's a live feed showing, you know, people having sex in these dirty, nasty freaking rooms with beds that are all fucking disgusting. I mean, it's really just a disgusting location this movie's filmed in. And so what ends up happening is there's this head boss guy. I don't think he's in the pictures here. Yeah, actually he's in this top one right here. And he enjoys watching people get tortured and killed live. So this is one of the main torturers, a pretty cool character right there. So these people start getting picked off one by one, and they're being shown on this live feed getting tortured and killed. It's kind of famous for one scene where a live snake is put down someone's throat and enters someone's throat and goes into their body, or at least that's how it shows on, I don't know how they ended up doing that practical effect, but really cool. Now, again, make sure you get the unrated, guys. All right, let's go into Half Price Books. Over there, or over there. You can't see it because of the truck, but it is there. And let's see if we can exchange this and get something cool. All right, guys, as always, I got a big box full of Blu-ray and DVD goodness. Now, I don't feel like I was through ranting about this church situation. I still got some more stuff I want to get off my chest real fast. So, you know, I feel like I live in the town of Footloose. Remember Footloose, where the kids just wanted to dance and they were getting arrested and called Satanists for trying to dance? I should not be oppressed and not given a job because I have a channel called DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn. What kind of time do we live in where that kind of crap is going on? So I say, F you, Bay Area church. Yeah, I got witchcraft movies, black magic. How you like those apples? Ridiculous. All right, speaking of witch movies, so you guys see me pick up, it really pisses me off, that whole situation, I'm not gonna lie. Number one, Google, get out of my effing life and stop trying to attach yourself to everything that I do in my life. I'm getting sick of that. That's number one. And DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn, I'm a God-fearing man. You should know that, Human Resources of Bay Area Church. All right, so lovely transition here. So you guys saw me pick up Witch House. If you've been watching the channel, you know that I really like witch movies. And Witch House is just, it was a bad movie. It was really a lot of fun, though. So they were doing, at my favorite horror hole, they were doing buy one, get one half off. So I figured, let me go ahead and get the entire series here. So these ended up not being the best of movies, but Witchcraft, or Witch House 2, Blood Coven. From watching reviews, like, people say this is the best written story of the three movies, but I could really care less about the story if the characters, like, the characters in this movie are just boring. The first one, the characters were funny as hell. That's why I enjoyed that. That was the only reason I enjoyed the movie. So, yeah, the characters really sucked in this one. I cared nothing about any of the characters. And they used this annoying, I didn't notice in the first film, but they used this annoying blue filter the whole entire movie until like the end, and they started using a green filter on the lens or something. Like, it just looked blue and it looked green. It just looked like trash. I felt like this one even looked lower budget than the first one. And then we have the third one, which at least this one had a lot of witch stuff in it. And actually the final act of this movie kind of saves it. This movie's hilarious, though. It has three main, like, I guess you could call them protagonists, three main women in the movie, and they all have like the same size big breast. All three of them. You think one of them would have no chest, but no, not with my friends over at Full Moon. They all have big breast. But yeah, there was a lot of funny parts to this one. I don't know if I can recommend any of these, but I would definitely say check out the first one if you like cheesy movies. This one made me laugh, part 3. Witch House, Demon Fire. The legacy continues. All right, next up here. Have a little coffee here. I collect horror movies. I mean, does that make me a bad person? I mean, come on. All right, next up, some of you might have watched, did we do this? I think we did this on my Mr. Tight White channel. We ranked all of the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. And this ranked right in the middle for me. And by the way, this is another buy one, get a half off. I went like 3 days in a row to the horror hole. And, but this ranked, for me, I liked all the Silent Night, Deadly Nights, just at varying degrees. This was like kind of right there in the middle for me. But as I told the guys, the only problem I had with this movie is that for whatever reason, when they wrote the screenplay of this movie, they decided to make all of the characters just unbelievably, just scummy, spineless, just terrible characters. And it just kind of took away from the movie. It made the movie not seem real, if that makes any sense. But other than that, the kills were really cool. And it was a fun flick. I enjoyed it. And like I told the guys, this will probably go up. I think I rated it 3. I could see this going up to a 3.5 on a second viewing. Yeah, it was fun. And I want to say, well, the funniest thing in the world is, and he'll hear more about this, Zomberry doing a ranking video with us and not watching all the movies he's ranking. It's like, are you serious? But he's gonna catch my wrath on that one. But anyway, the other two guys that watched it, I believe they had this, I want to say they both ranked this their second best in the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. All right, now, this is a movie that I got pretty wasted last night, I'm not going to lie. And I don't know if I watched the very end of this, but I was almost finished with it. And by the way, rest in peace to Betty White. She passed away the other night at 99 years old. She almost made it to her 100th birthday. So rest in peace to Betty White for all the many years of great entertainment we got. And if you guys don't remember, the reason why I'm mentioning that is Betty White was in the first Lake Placid. She was the old lady that was feeding the alligators and was the reason why these alligators were like killing everybody. So that's hilarious. I don't think I've seen Lake Placid 2. I don't think Betty White was in that. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But she wasn't in this movie. I mean, listen, this movie made me laugh my ass off. There's a lot of funny scenes in it. It's straight sci-fi garbage, schlocky cheese fest of a movie. And man, it is all 100% CGI, guys. So don't expect anything less than it. If you can get past the CGI, I think the movie's pretty funny. All right, I don't know how this movie missed my last two Blu-ray videos, or not Blu-ray videos, my Dollar Tree videos, because I know I picked this up at Dollar Tree. I don't know if it was in the November drop or the December drop, but somehow I did not record it. And this is Castle Freak, which is weird because it's a newer movie. It's like a 2020 movie. Comes with a slip, and this is embossed, by the way, guys. Now, again, this is a 2020 release. It's a Fangoria release, directed by Tate Steinsiek, or Steinsiek. And so Tate worked under Tom Savini. So he's a makeup special effects guy. So he worked under the best. And come to find out, speaking of my latest Dollar Tree video, I picked up that Puppet Master 2018. And I can't remember if I told you, I don't think when I showed it in the video I had seen it yet. But I really enjoyed that movie. And the special effects, the makeup effects were so awesome in that movie. Well, guess what? Tate did the special effects or makeup effects for that movie. So that was really cool to hear, because the effects in this movie are awesome, guys. I'll just go ahead and say it, man. I don't want to give away too much from this movie. If you're a fan of H.P. Lovecraft, this is way more Lovecraft than the original Castle Freak. Shout out to the original Castle Freak. Had Jeffrey Combs in it, Barbara Cranston in it. Really good flick. I'm taking nothing away from it. This is not a remake. I would say this is a reboot, a retelling of that story, but this is a lot more Lovecraft. Now, back to what I was saying, there is a makeup effect of a woman's vagina, which is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. It is absolutely hilarious. You have to check out this movie, 2020 Castle Freak. It's a really good time. Hell yeah. All right, we're rolling through this stuff right now. I'm getting another sip of coffee. I'm getting hoarse as hell. It's probably because I'm getting rid of this COVID. All right, so I picked up this Road Trip Trilogy. And by the way, everything I showed you, I've been mentioning where I've been getting stuff from. This is a Goodwill find right here. So this has the 3 road trip movies in it, right? So the one with Tom Green, I consider like a modern day classic. That's a hilarious film. I think everybody's seen that. But the other ones, you have, the hidden gem in here is Euro Trip. So if you've not seen Euro Trip, check out Euro Trip. It's very funny, very underrated movie. I love beer pong movies. So the beer pong one is the 3rd film, and I enjoyed that one as well, but it's nowhere near as good as Euro Trip and the original Road Trip. All right. We'll turn those upside down. All right, let's do this one right now. So basically, I had this hidden at my Goodwill for like 3 weeks until the color sticker that I wanted was good, and that was orange, right? So I ended up getting 75% off on this special edition Avatar 3-disc Blu-ray set. Comes with a slip, factory sealed. Now, I put the receipt in here for a reason. She was supposed to charge me $5.99, but then give me 75% off. But she only charged me, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. She only charged me, well, it doesn't matter. She only charged me $2.99 for it. So I ended up getting this for 75 cents, which was one hell of a deal. Now, I think initially I was thinking about flipping this, but I think I'm going to keep it for my collection because here's a funny story. I don't know if it's funny, but kind of odd. I've never seen this movie before. Now, I make a joke with my friends that this is actually a ripoff of Smurfs. So I think the characters are blue in this. But yeah, this is a James Cameron classic. And so about 7 years ago, I think I got my wisdom teeth taken out. And I remember my mom having to be there with me because they dope you up and they say you can't drive home. So she's supposed to drive me home and then stay with me for like 5 hours or 8 hours or whatever the hell. So I remember we found this on a streaming service and I said, you know what? Let's watch Avatar. I've never watched Avatar before. Well, I fell asleep during the first 10 minutes of it. And I can't remember if she finished watching it or what. I think it was her first time watching it too. But yeah, I fell asleep and I've never watched it since. So I might pop this bad boy open and finally watch Avatar. All right, you guys know I'm crazy about the Masters of Horror series, guys. I picked up another one. Now, this is based on a short story by David, what is his name? David Scone? I believe it's David Scone, who also wrote the screenplay for The Crow with Brandon Lee and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. And this was also directed by Larry Cohen. So Pick Me Up is a road horror film that is based upon, there's 2 serial killers that end up meeting each other just by happenstance, and then it becomes like a serial killer versus serial killer movie, which is really cool. I enjoyed this one. I think this had like a, it was nominated for an Emmy. So again, really loving these Masters of Horror movies. I got this at Half Price Books for $5.99. I think I got 25% off on it. All right, next up is a movie that, it's funny because I forgot that I had that, or I didn't forget. After all these years, I finally decided to watch Beer League with Ralph Macchio and Artie Lang. And by the way, for me, I used to be the biggest Howard Stern fan, and some of the funnest years for me with that franchise, which, by the way, has really jumped the shark, jumped the Mario. Howard Stern is not what he used to be anymore, but when Artie was on the show, I think was when the show was its best. But anyway, I finally decided to watch this on a streaming service, and about halfway into it, it was getting late in the day, I wanted to hit up Goodwill, so I stopped it, or I paused it, and I went to Goodwill and actually found a physical copy of it, and I got like 75% off or 50% off on it. So yeah, Beer League. Real funny, man. Just like a, you know, lots of breast in this movie, lots of sex, fart, burp jokes, guys playing on a softball league, getting drunk and high. Really fun flick. I enjoyed it. Good one. All right, I need to speed through these because I'm getting hoarse as hell here. All right, next up, let me just read these. So this is a 4-film, really cool 4-film right here I got from Goodwill. So we have the Pineapple Express. Everyone knows about that. Modern day marijuana classic. We have The Interview, which I think that is that guy from China, right? I can't think of his name right now. Dennis Rodman went to visit him and shit, which was really weird. Then you have The Night Before, which I actually think I saw at the movie theater, but I can't remember if I enjoyed it. I'm going to have to watch that one again. That's another druggy movie. And notice this all has, basically it has the same characters in all these movies, that John Franco world. But anyway, this one, This Is the End, is one of my favorites here. It's a post-apocalyptic movie where they all get together in this mansion. They have like kegs of beer. They have every drug you can imagine. They have hot chicks, and they're like, you know, bedding down in this mansion, getting fucked up on drugs and alcohol. And I think there's like zombies trying to break in, and it's a really good one, man. I enjoyed that one. I'll break this open and watch these. Like I said, I need to watch The Interview, and The Night Before, I need to check that out again. In many ways, I feel like Pineapple Express is a little bit overrated. It's not as good as like Cheech and Chong or anything like that, but it's fun. All right, next up here we have As Above, or no, is it As Below? Yeah, As Above, So Below. This is a 2014 Legendary Pictures released. It was directed by Joseph Eric Dowdle, and if you guys don't know him, he directed Full Moon Rising, the Poughkeepsie Tapes, Quarantine, which is another movie kind of similar to this. It's a found footage, claustrophobic type of movie, which is very much like this movie. And then also the elevator movie Devil. So he's got a pretty decent resume. Now, this is a found footage, like I had mentioned, film recorded under Paris in the catacombs of Paris, which I guess is a real thing. So I think someone referred to this movie as a cross between Blair Witch and Indiana Jones, which I kind of get that. There's like treasures in this movie and like puzzle solving and like, you know, but it's like, you know, it's kind of like Grave Encounters. Have you ever seen Grave Encounters before? I don't know why I'm asking that question, but if you've ever seen Grave Encounters before, it's very similar to that found footage, you know, lots of jump scares and stuff like that. It's a decent film. I'm not saying it's nothing epic or anything like that, but you usually don't see found footage films in 2000. This is like 2014, which is pretty crazy that they're still doing the found footage angle. But it's kind of cool. It plays upon, just like that movie Antrim that we talked about in one of my recent videos, it plays upon that 7 layers of hell, Dante's Inferno type of deal, which I always find kind of fascinating. So I kind of enjoyed that part of it. So yeah, they actually enter hell in this movie, supposedly. So, but you don't know if their minds are playing tricks on them and stuff. It's one of those movies that kind of plays with you a little bit on that. But yeah, it's a pretty decent flick. All right, this is a movie that's not going to stay in my collection. I'm not saying this is a bad movie, guys, but again, I love my witch movies. This is called Crucible, and you know, what's the guy's name? Daniel Day-Lewis. He's such a good actor. I think Winona Ryder did an incredible job at acting in this movie. But the problem with this movie is, even though it's based upon, you know, they think that Winona is a witch, but she's really not a witch. So it's all just like them thinking that she's a witch the whole movie. So there's nothing that happens. Like, you know, people are being hung and burned at the stake, like it's kind of like the Salem. Basically it is. It's the Salem witch hunt that went on back in the 1800s. So that's basically what this movie is. But none of them are real witches. So that was disappointing to me. This is more of a drama than it is a thriller witch movie. So I was kind of let down by that. It's a long movie too. It's like 2-hour film. So I'll go ahead and get rid of that. I'm not going to keep that. All right, back to Masters of Horror, but I already have this one. We've talked about this before. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to explain it again because we discussed it before. I picked this up for anyone that needs it because I already have a copy of it. I will just say, again, this has Meat Loaf in it and John Saxon. Do I need to say anything more? Like, John Saxon is the man. I think my boy Steve has a crush on him. But yeah, really cool. This is one of the best Masters of Horror episodes, in my opinion. Really enjoyed it. So I throw that to the ground. What do we have here? All right, this is why I make these videos, guys. To show you something like this that I know 99% of the people that watch this video have never even heard of this. Look at that cover. Look how badass that is. And yes, this is a badass movie. This is why I made this channel, to show off shit like this.
Why did this place close down?
Okay, like 100 years ago when snowboarding was like new, they tried to ban it up here. You know, attracts the wrong element, not safe. But of course people were riding anyway. And then there was this egregious accident.
Wait, I believe Officer Easy Bribe used the word murder.
Okay, there was this little girl.
You mean she died?
I guess so. Duh.
I have no idea of the proper loading technique, and I shouldn't even be using this equipment unsupervised. Look, check it out. No safety strap. I have no device to prevent runaway equipment, and I'm littering. I never take responsibility for people ahead of me on the trail. Where the hell are you? Come and get me. I hate skiers. Weekend alone in the mountains? Priceless.
98.74.
For everything else, there's my credit card.
So, Shredder, Death to Snowboarders. This is a really cool flick, man. It has some great practical effects in it. There's very small CGI in it. It's mostly practical effects. The actual killer, which is the actual killer's dressed like all in this black snowsuit, and he's got those cool snowboarder glasses on. Looks really dope. Let's just talk about the bad first. I wouldn't even say this is bad. It's just I wish that there were more axe murders in the movie. It does have an axe on the front cover, and I literally think that there's either one axe kill or maybe zero. I know he attacked a guy with an axe, and I think that person got away. So I wanted more axe kills. And another thing that happened was the best kill happens in the first 5 minutes of the movie. So it's like The bar is raised so friggin' high in this movie. It's hard to get back to, you know, a kill as good. But there is a lot of cool stuff in this film. There's one scene in the movie that just cracks me up, man. I have to watch this again, like really soon, to check this out again, where it's kind of like the scene in the original Halloween where Michael Myers is breaking through the wood closet door. So this one chick goes to hide in the closet, and for some reason there's a dead person in there already, and the dead person's like hanging up somehow, standing up in front of her, and she's hiding behind in the closet, right? And then the killer has like, I don't know if it's like a fireplace poker or something, or maybe it's like a ski, the sharp end of a ski stick or whatever those things are called, and he's like breaking that shit through the freaking closet door, right? And it's smashing through the closet door, and then all of a sudden you see they change the camera angle to behind the closet door. Maybe it's down low where she's at, and all you see is this fucking head on the other end of that poker going back and forth and over her. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen, man. It makes me crack up laughing. I absolutely love that part of the movie. There's another scene, it's actually on here. They probably put this on there on purpose, where they're in the jacuzzi and they're having sex. It's like a porno. It is one of the funniest sex scenes I've ever seen in a movie. This movie is all like 80s, early 90s, like a super cheesy dialogue. You know, there's the one guy in there that's like, oh man, that's so fucking tubular, dude. And like there's every stereotype, every trope from back then that you can imagine. Really fun snowboard fucking killer movie, man. I don't know what else to say about this movie. Definitely check this out. I've never seen this out in the wild before. I've never heard of this movie. But yeah, man, this is a definitely the hidden gem of all the movies that I'm showing you guys. All right, we got 3 more movies. I got to go home and let the dogs out. All right, we have Dead Birds. I've been meaning to see this for a while. This is a 2004 Sony Pictures release. It's a Western horror flick. All right, guys, sorry about that. I ran out of space on my phone, so we're going to have to hurry up here. We only got 15 minutes. So, again, this is a Western horror flick, not like Western part of the world, but Western, you know, cowboys, bang, bang, bank robbery type of flick. So, this was, and by the way, I know that Winchester is one, and I haven't seen that movie. I don't think that was very well received, but let me know in the comments below if you know a good horror movie that mixes the Western genre in, because really there's not enough, and I like the concept and the idea of melding those two things together, but I just have not seen too many good movies like that. Now, this is directed by Alex Turner, who really isn't known for much. He's known for this movie and a movie called Red Sands that I've never seen before. But basically the premise of this movie is this crew of guys, they rob this bank, right? And then one of them tells about this abandoned plantation that they can go hide in for the night. And after, you know, they wake up the next day, they're going to escape to Mexico. So they get to this plantation and all this creepy stuff starts happening. So the story behind the plantation is there was a married couple there back in the days. This is back in the times of like slavery. And there was a married couple there with kids. Somehow the wife dies and the husband is into black magic and stuff. So he sacrifices his slaves and he sacrifices his own children to try to get the wife to come back. But the wife never comes back. It just opens a portal for evil spirits to enter the world. So now these bank robbers are now dealing with all these evil spirits inside this abandoned plantation. So there's lots of CGI in the movie, which I don't like. I've mentioned that to you guys a lot. What else? It's not a bad movie, but I just didn't love it, man. It's got Henry Thomas. If you don't know who that is, it's the kid from E.T. He's like the main protagonist in the movie. It's got some really good acting, and it's got some good actors. Patrick Fugit, which was in Almost Famous, And then also Michael Shannon's in this. He's a really good actor as well. Remember on YouTube where there was like this time where around Halloween, they would show like these misdirection videos where like you'd be focusing on one part of the screen and then all of a sudden this white-faced demon would be screaming and its mouth would open like real large. There's a lot of that in this movie. So it really reminds me of like those YouTube videos. So a lot of CGI. 2004 was a time where they're doing a lot of those weird CGI faces that I'm not a big fan of. But yeah, Dead Birds. And by the way, I don't know why this is called Dead Birds. I have no clue why it's called Dead Birds. Maybe it has something to do, there's like some scarecrow scenes in it. Possibly that's what it is. All right, next up here. I only got 2 more movies and I'll let you guys go. This video is running a lot longer than I thought. We have Black Christmas or Black Xmas. Now, this is a crazy ride from start to finish, guys. Now, I wasn't going to say too much about this movie, and I probably won't, but I was going to shut up completely about it because they're probably going to rank or do a rate and review live stream next December. I think we've already decided that, me and the guys. So that's going to be cool. There's 3 films to talk about. The original, this remake, and there's another. This is a 2006 reboot, and then there's another remake or reboot, I think in 2013, maybe 16. But anyway, this is a 2006 Dimension Films and 2929 production. This is the equivalent to if you sniffed like a huge line of cocaine on Christmas and then had a panic attack. If the panic attack was actually a good panic attack, if that's even possible. Because this movie is just like, they throw everything at you in this movie. It's like non-stop, crazy production. Like, they really went for it, man. I got to give this movie credit, man. They took a lot of risk in this movie. But, man, it's a fun ride, man. I'm not going to lie. It's a really fun ride. Let me see what else I wrote on this. Some notes and stuff. But that's basically it. I mean, it's just a really cool ride. There's lots of great practical effects kills in here, guys, which I love. I didn't notice too much CGI in it, man. It's just a super fun ride. The original is a classic. I wouldn't say this is a classic, but if you feel like the original has too much downtime, this movie has 0 downtime, basically. The movie flies by. I think it's like an hour 30, and it's definitely wall-to-wall fun, so definitely check that one out. All right, last up here, and I'll let you guys go. This is a 1998, this is a pawn shop pickup. I got this for $1. 1998 Troma release. And if you're not familiar with Troma, obviously that is that's the Toxic Avenger movies, and also the Class of Nuke 'Em High, Return to Nuke 'Em High, Combat Shock is another movie, and Lloyd Kaufman presents Troma. Tromeo and Juliet, man. This is obviously the William Shakespeare, but it's done in a very Troma-like way. So lots of hilarious stuff in it. It's a fun flick. Tromeo and Juliet. I really don't have too much more to say about it. I enjoyed it for what it was. It's got some funny stuff in it. If you watch any Troma movies, you know what you're in store for on this one. So, all right, guys, that is it. That's what I picked up the last couple of weeks. Thanks for everybody that's been checking out my Dollar Tree videos, man. Those are getting a lot of views, trending very well. Hopefully these DVD and Blu-ray horror movie at Goodwill hunting videos will start trending like my Dollar Tree videos. Hopefully there's going to be another January drop, and we'll be able to find some cool stuff at Dollar Tree like Castle Freak, like the what's the other movie? We talked about it earlier, the Blu-ray that I picked up. Damn it, I can't think of it right now. The dolls that come alive and stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, guys, I want to make an announcement right here, and I'll make it easy for you. I'll probably edit or I'll schedule the next live stream we're going to do. We're going to get away from the horror live stream for 1 month here, because in February, we're going to rank all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, because in February, the new release Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie comes out on Netflix. I'm very excited about that. But we're going to do a 1980s tribute stream. We're going to talk about nothing but 1980s VHS movies, Laserdisc, beepers, the first time we had sex, our first girlfriends, the first girl we had a crush on, everything Walkmans, anything that you could imagine from the 1980s, we're going to discuss it, drink beer. So anybody that's, I don't know, in your 30s, 40s, older than that, or even if you're younger than that and want to learn about the 1980s, we're going to have a blast. We're going to be dressed in 1980s gear. I think it's going to be really fun. That's going to be January 22nd, guys. I want you guys to check that out. All right, guys. Thanks for checking out the video. Good luck out there on the hunt. Hopefully you guys find the DVDs, Blu-rays, 4K media that you're looking for. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.
Dude, she will be mine. Carpet muncher.
What, like buy?
Now, you don't have to like us, but borders are the future. Whatever, we make our own rules, dude, and you better get used to it. Those are skiers rules, asshole! What is your damage, dickweed? You could have killed me! I don't ski, I shred!